Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another week of our Apocalypse World game, the Frozen Heights. Very happy to be back with our three main players. We have Dusk, Lark, and Sam making their appearance into this very cold winter and bloody world. I think last week we ended kind of with some hectic things going on, and that's where we're going to pick up again. I do think that enough situations have occurred that we should start off by highlighting stats again. I definitely think things have changed. So let's go ahead and go down the line. Dusk, who has the highest history on your page?
Let me open it. I think it's Lark. Yeah, Lark.
Okay. What's good for a brainer here? I am going to say Dusk has been on a blood craze, so I'm going to say highlight hard.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I think you gotta still. There's so much stuff going on. You still gotta highlight that sharp. I think there's gonna be a lot of reading situations going on. So while you might get into some fights, you're gonna want to be smart about it first. Yeah. So Lark, what about you?
For HX is actually a tie right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with Sam, I suppose.
Okay.
So you have to pick one of my stats to be highlighted.
Well, let's see. I'm probably gonna say we're probably gonna get a pretty good situation, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark sharp for you.
All right.
All right. Well,
because I expect a lot of social things to come into this.
I honestly think there's already been some hectic situations out here on the trail, and having a level head might be a good idea. So I'm gonna highlight your cool.
Okay.
And Sam, how about you? Who has the highest hex on your sheet?
Well, that depends. Which is higher, -2 or 0?
0.
Then that would be Lark.
Let's see how much of a madman I feel like right now. Highlight your hard.
All right, that works for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna highlight your sharp as well. I think you're surrounded by things that it's your job. You're literally been hired to keep an eye on things. So perfect. Well, with our stats highlighted, we kind of come back into our world, and we find ourselves at the castle. It's nighttime. There's definitely, orange torchlight and braziers and a few lanterns lighting up the courtyard. But the courtyard where the marketplace is fairly empty right now. There's definitely a crowd of people, but they all seem to be surrounding the garage. It seems that there's been an accident of sorts. And there's a smaller group that's kind of near the tower that's over to the east a little bit, as someone has just thrown themselves off the roof. It's been a pretty hectic day already here at the castle. There's been about 11 people that have died so far, and all of them from this army that just pulled into town. So you can kind of excuse the Emperor if he might appear a little stressed. He's standing there, and beside him is this man still wearing a full suit of black. You could think of it as armor. It looks like something he made in his garage to go and cosplay as a knight. But he's doing the best that he possibly can. And from a distance, we can see Dusk, not seen by many others, sitting on top of a wall looking down on the chaos that, while no one knows it was her, she certainly caused. A bit of brain interaction with a man named Wisher, causing him to kick out the blocks of a jeep that was raised, causing the jeep to lurch back and crush the skulls of 2 men behind him. One of them being the chief mechanic of Portum, a man named Recoil. As the crowd begins to part ways, immediately the Night Sentinel begins to go into a rage. And while you're decent ways, you can hear him as clearly, and it might be because within his helmet it's echoing. He is just cursing the wind, the wall, the fucking person standing there. Did you just fucking breathe on me? He is livid. The Emperor steps forward and begins to demand order, as he often does. He's in charge of many of the Legion. But it doesn't seem that the Night Sentinel wants to listen, no. In fact, it seems the Night Sentinel has had just about enough, and Dusk, you see him reach for the fairly large machine gun that's on his back. And as the Emperor steps forward, you see the Emperor reach for his weapon, and for a moment, both men stand there reaching for their weapons. You can see there's a crowd of people. And just behind the Emperor, you can see your good friend Shazah. He's standing there watching, intrigued by what's going on, but certainly in the line of fire if anything was to break out. So while you could easily sit and watch and see what happens, I will ask, is there anything you would like to do as you oversee this event?
Yeah. She's going to tell Shazza to get the fuck out of there.
Awesome. Yeah, so you begin to whisper within the winds, calling out to your friend, which you have many times. Go ahead and roll plus weird for me, just to see if he gets the message. Oh, he absolutely gets the message. You see his face go from inquisitive to fear and concern, and very much in the same way you're able to disappear, he just slinks back behind the crowd, and within no time at all, you don't see him anywhere within this front courtyard. But as he does that, the Night Sentinel pulls the gun down, and he's not aiming it yet, but you can tell that he is about to go off. The Emperor notices this and removes his hand away from the sword. He is smart enough to realize sword against gun, that's not that smart. But you do notice that a few of the guards are beginning to make their way, sneaking around the garage, trying to find a back entrance. You can see that Ace is going far towards the main gate to move back around, and Doghead, one of the other younger members of the Legion, is actually climbing on the roof to possibly drop down. So it does seem that while the Emperor might be concerned, the situation may be handled or quickly relieved. As you continue to watch, the crowd begins to disperse. There's a gun present. They know that guns are dangerous, and it seems like this is a gun that shoots more than just one bullet at a time. So after a good 2-3 minutes, the only people that are standing here are a handful of the Portum guards, the ones that are loyal but not all that well. The rest of them have basically fucked off. They've gone back to drinking, whatever. If that dumbass Night Sentinel wants to get himself killed, they'll let him. They're not here for him. But you do notice that throughout the courtyard, in fairly strategic positions, there are a few more of the Legion, a few with bows at the ready. You don't see any of them with guns, but you've seen them train. This is their castle, this is their territory. But you do start to feel a bit uncomfortable up on this wall. This is a place they may want to use as an advantage, so you can stay and continue to watch to see what happens, but you might be putting yourself at risk by doing so. Do you stay?
No. She will walk towards Shazad's house.
As the general public is still watching, but kind of from afar, I don't think it'll be all that difficult for you to slink over, kind of follow the path around the wall, and go the same way as you always have. You arrive before he does, and you wait for a moment, and then you hear the front door swing open, a lantern is lit inside, and you hear him walking throughout the house. You take a moment to listen, and you don't hear him conversing with anyone. It seems like his parents aren't home. And then you see the small lantern in his, or possibly more candle, in his bedroom light. And his shadow kind of glances across the window as he goes to sit on his bed.
She will knock on the window.
He notices and sees you and gives you a big smile, kind of maybe expecting that you would come, or just happy that you're here. He goes to unlatch the window, opens it. Come in, it's pretty cold out there tonight. It seems like there might be a bit of an event going on. Don't worry, my parents aren't home. They probably won't be for a while, at least until whatever the chaos out there is done.
If Shaza looks closely on Dusk, her expression is even darker than usual. Not angry, but just sad.
Mm-hmm.
And as she comes into his room, he can probably notice that the bullet hole. There's like a small bullet hole on her
Mm-hmm.
on her dress near her chest. There's not really that much blood on it. Like just there's blood, but mostly around the hole itself.
Mm-hmm.
And she's clearly not in pain.
Yeah, the smile fades. He brushes a bit of his hair out of his eyes to look at you. Wait, I knew something was going on over there. They've been all around your home all day, and they boarded it up. He kind of points towards your shoulder. What happened over there? Was all that? And you can tell he's hesitating, referencing the large amount of bodies kind of outside. Was that you?
Dusk doesn't answer,
Mm-hmm.
and after like a few moments, tears start to roll out on her cheeks.
He shuts up immediately, knowing I shouldn't be asking questions, and just goes to pull you close. Not a full embrace, more of just a gentle arm around the shoulder. You know, he understands that you need your space. He doesn't want to smother you, but at least to offer silence, peace, a shoulder to just feel the warmth of someone else that's not expecting anything. After a moment, he goes and he reaches once more underneath his pillow, pull out the same book. You've seen it so many times. It's the comic book, and at this point, you probably could draw it yourself. But there's comfort there. It's familiar.
Well, it's a bit hard for her to get into the comics, at least at first. She just rather stand there next to Shaza and really just try to just forget about what happened tonight.
There's a little time where maybe he recognizes that, you know what, the normal things, it's not all working. So he goes to the kitchen just to get some food, some basic food. Now that the doors are locked, it's going to be more difficult for him to get to you. And he brings in a bit of bread from the bakery, some more of that meat. Probably, while they don't have much, you know, maybe a potato or some, you know, root vegetable, and sits down and he begins to eat, knowing that you will eat if you're hungry. You know, he's not going to force you to eat, but, you know, the food's here if you want it.
Yeah, she probably takes a couple bites, but not much. She's really just visibly shaken.
He kind of stops for a moment and just looks at you. Is it safe for you to go back? Is it safe for you to go home?
Dusk just shrugs.
What can I do?
She just looks away.
As you look away, he takes another bite of meat, begins to chew, and you notice his attention begins to get drawn away, like he's thinking, he's pondering about something. But then you start to notice that the shadow being cast behind him from the candle begins to twitch. And you start to see the inky black and to form from his pupil and spread throughout his eyes. And as he finishes chewing, his voice deeper, familiar. No, Dusk. What can we do?
She is taken quite by surprise at this, and she just stares at Shazza, and using her mind, she, after a moment, she asks, "Who are you?"
I am who you are. What you need to take the power that is yours. This place is weak, full of weak men. This is yours to take.
She just her sadness starts to become a bit more of anger again, and she just says, "Leave Sheza alone."
As you say that, Shazad stands, the shadow standing like an extra 4 feet above him, and he reaches out his hand. You will not turn from me again, child, and goes to grab your face.
She'll try to dodge.
Awesome. Act under fire for me. The movement is quick. You think you can get away, but it's probably by going going through Shazah. It is using your momentum to basically knock him out of the way and get back out the window. There's no staying in this room with that thing where it's going to give you another chance to escape. So if you knock him out of the way, you can get out. But you will leave him here with this situation.
No, she's not going to leave him. She's going to exorcise that thing out of him.
So you take a moment. I'm going to say you prepare yourself. So you're not able to get out, but you definitely prepare yourself. And you feel his hand against you, and it still feels warm, as it did when he tried to put his arm around you. And it changes. It caresses your cheek. Not in any way Shazah ever has, but in the way of a mother cleansing a bit of dirt off your cheek. You run from what you truly are. This world, it does not need to think of you as a ghost. You are to be a legend, a god.
She's going to lean her forehead against Shazah's, and she's going to confront this thing in his mind.
Awesome. That sounds like you are definitely opening your old mind to the maelstrom. And I'm going to actually say, let's, before you do that, we'll come back to that. We kind of see this scene where you rest your head against him, and there's like a part of your face that shows friendly concern, and another part that's like, we see the shadow of you, just anger. And that's awesome. We're going to have a shadow fight. But let's go over to the camp. We got Sam and Lark, and you just kind of finished having a bit of a, we'll call it a conversation. There were guns and gunshots involved, but you talked.
Yeah, the gun was part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It's how half of Sam talks. So
It's true. It's true. Yeah. As Lark, you stand up to kind of leave Sam to her piece. You notice that there are 2 more members in your camp than there were just moments ago. These 2 individuals, they look, maybe 5'6", 5'7", hard to distinguish features as they are covered in just white winterized suits, a mixture of fur and fabric. They are wearing a white ski cap, a white ski mask, and very large goggles across their eyes. And they both are the exact same height, exact same build. They've just finished shaking hands with Old Man Peter and Look, who are kind of discussing the goings-on, and Peter notices you. Oh, yes, this one here, and he points to you. Lark, he's to be the emissary to meet with your leader, Princey. And they both nod to you. Yes, Lark, these 2, they call themselves the twins. They, I guess, heard the gunshot go off, and while they are nearby, they came to offer us support. They want to stay with us tonight, and they actually have some, what did you call them, rabbits? Some machinery to help move through the snow a bit quicker, so they're going to help us really make good pace tomorrow. So I think they've already volunteered to watch throughout the night. We can all go and get a good night's sleep. I think be ready for tomorrow.
Yes, very good. Lark obviously he just almost got shot. Now, like immediately this, so he's a little bit like mind is everywhere right now. So Lark's just gonna, yes, very, very good. I might need a moment before I'm actually able to rest myself. My heart rate still seems a bit high right now, but uh, very good, very, very nice to meet you. Lark approaches and extends a hand and a friendly gesture towards the twins.
Yeah, they reach out and grasp it, and they speak quietly. It is very nice to meet you as well, Lark. I know Princey will look forward to meeting you. And do be sure to get some rest. The journey will be quick, but, well, you'll want to be on your brightest gaze when you come to our home. So much to see.
Yes, I very much look forward to it. Mark kind of smiles a little bit. I'm not sure there's really anything to read right now, but Lark is a little bit suspicious. These two strangers just show up and they're like, yes, sleep, we'll watch you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's a little bit weird to him, but
Yeah.
and that is saying something.
I mean, it definitely is. This is not something you would normally do. You've been out in the wilds. You've met strange people. The fact that Old Man Peter was just like, yep, cool, this makes sense. We were expecting folk, and they're here, so let's everybody go to bed. Especially for a man of his, well, time. Who knows?
Right, he didn't get that. He didn't become Old Man Peter making bad decisions.
Right.
Well, I guess that begs the question, do I read one of the twins or do I read the situation? Because this feels off to Lark.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think, honestly, either one would work. It's a charged situation because they're strangers here. But whether you want, I guess it would be depending on the questions you want to ask. Is it more you want to ask directly, maybe have a conversation with the twins and get to know who they are? Or is it more just reading the entire situation of them in our camp? Are there dangers here?
I think I'm going to read a sitch because I think more of those questions will become useful should things go sideways.
Right.
And I'd actually like to help him with that.
Yeah,
this is something that Sam would definitely be doing too. Not good with people, but this whole scenario, she feels like that gun should be pointing at these guys now.
Right.
She's gonna read if pull the trigger or not.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
she was
as
gonna help
you
us.
step out of your tent, back in your helmet with your full spike plate, they recognize you. You're big. It's red. It's not like you're hiding. But they don't do anything but just nod again towards your direction, just recognizing you're there and acknowledging it. But yeah, let's go ahead and start off with your help roll. Roll plus your hex. Perfect. There it is.
Nice.
All right.
Without a modifier. Nice.
Yeah, +2.
Gotta love it.
Awesome. There we go. Getting lots of good rolls there.
Well, that brought me up from a partial to a complete success,
Yep.
thanks to the help. So
There you go. Got your questions ready to go. So yeah, you're kind of looking over. I mean, right now, surveying as you're over there talking with them, you see Fauna and Z. They've pretty much settled in for the night. They're actually, I think Fauna, she got really cold after you left her there, so she probably huddled up, in her bear skin and is just trying to sleep but just shivering, quite cold.
She was probably there until the gunshot went off.
Probably.
She was like, "Oh, we're not praying anymore."
And Z's just probably asleep, maybe listening. It definitely seems to be asleep. Look is still up. Old Man Peter's gone to the fire just to sit by it. Then yeah, you have the rest. So what questions do you have about this situation?
My first one is going to be, what should I be on the lookout for?
Well, I guess for you, what is Lark's motivation for joining the caravan? Like, why, other than the Emperor telling you, beyond that, why is Lark here on this journey?
It seems like there were just so many benefits to this. Lark could potentially figure out if this group truly does deserve to be wiped out like the Emperor was planning.
Mm-hmm.
It allows him to, like, he's being sent as an emissary. The Emperor obviously trusts him. It increases his standing within the castle. But obviously none of that happens if he dies. I guess, like, he wants to know... He's just very, like, hesitant of these two individuals just showing up out of the blue, will take the watch. He wants to know, like, what the signs, like...
Perfect. I absolutely have an answer for you. They're standing by a campfire. Neither of them have shadows.
Okay.
Oh, that is
Since Sam is helping with this, does Sam notice this as well?
I think, especially with all the shadow stuff that Sam's seen today, absolutely. Like, I think shadows are just every... Yeah.
She like looks to their shadows to see if they're doing anything weird, and she's like, "Oh, they're not there. Thank God." Wait a minute, they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, thank God, no shadow. Wait a minute.
Oh my God, we're gonna turn Sam into a groundhog after this. Oh boy.
Except when she doesn't see a shadow, people die.
Okay, so Lark definitely notices that, and there are multiple ways that can be interpreted, but we'll come to that later. Which enemy is the biggest threat? Lark wants to know, like, what... I mean, Sam almost blasted him with a shotgun. We got these two strangers showing up that seem well-equipped and everything. Like, he's just like, I don't even know which direction to be looking for threats right now.
I don't think you necessarily see them as a direct threat to endanger you physically, but you're definitely getting a strange feeling through, you know, that little tingly thing in the back of your neck. Like, these two individuals, there's just something different about them. So as far as your biggest threat physically, I still think it's Sam. Sam's the biggest threat to possibly, you know, endanger you in some way. Metaphysically, I wouldn't say, again, they're not a threat. They're just different. There's something about them that just doesn't feel familiar that you've encountered throughout your time. They feel new, almost like you're encountering something for the first time.
It's definitely unusual for Lark, especially him being an individual that feels he has people in general figured out. I guess my last one will be, if things go foobar, what is my best escape route?
Okay. Yeah, I think you...
At the end of the day, Lark is going to save himself if need be.
Well, I think as you're looking over these individuals, you notice that they both they look like keychains on them. So if you had to get out of here, it's a matter of just finding their vehicle, taking their keys and finding their vehicle.
All right. Lark's probably... This is probably a series of observation Lark makes as he's beginning to settle down, but keeping an eye on the strangers, looking around the camp, and looking back towards Sam. Yeah, probably more new things than he was ready to deal with all at once, but he kind of just gently settles down again, He's definitely sleeping with one eye open tonight.
After, as everyone's settling, Sam, Look comes over to your tent with a bit of the bear fur that hasn't been used and begins to patch up the hole he made in your tent.
She's gonna put her hand up and stop him and go, no, necessary. And just kind of pushes him back with it. Might use that later anyway.
All right.
Besides, I'm not sleeping tonight.
You understand why, though. Meant no
That's
offense.
why I said necessary. No hard feelings.
All right. Well, he kind of leans closer. We don't have to shovel anything. So, yeah, tomorrow we should be good. We got the rest of the way. These two folks, I guess they have some kind of sled vehicle. I don't know. They say it goes real fast. They say we can leave the oxen here, tie them up. They'll take the wagon the rest of the way, and we should just be able to, hop on, ride with them. So today was a hard. It's been nice working with you. You are one hell of a worker, and I appreciate it. So you have yourself a good night. I know I will. Kind of awkwardly, kind of looks and begins to walk away.
And she goes, 1 second.
He stops.
And she tosses him the already shot shotgun shell. And says, that's the last wasted shot. I promise you. And just goes back into her tent.
he looks at it and he recognizes, like, yeah, that's a threat. I mean, it's okay, but he thinks it's cool.
It's not really a threat. It's not. It's both a threat because she's scary as all hell, but it's also an affirmation that what just happened ain't gonna happen again.
Right. Yeah, like all's good here. No, he nods. He puts it in his pocket. He probably hasn't. While his boss, has a gun, he hasn't really had a lot of time with weapons, so it's just kind of a cool trinket for him to have. Yeah, and then the camp begins to go to slumber. At once most folk have gone to bed, depending on who's up. I know, Sam, you're probably not sleeping. You will see you'll see one of the twins just begin to walk out of camp, and they post up probably about 100, 200 yards. There's a tree that you see them climb into, and you see the tree kind of sway back and forth. The snow kind of drops down, and then it just kind of stops moving. Everything becomes quiet. You hear the crackle of the fire, and every once in a while you'll probably notice that the one that had stayed behind, like if you look towards them, they look back at you every time. They'll always just seem to recognize that you're looking at them, and they'll just turn and nod their head. They don't speak to you. They just, again, recognize that you're looking at them and just confirm it. Just nod their head.
Out of these interactions, I kind of want to see if I can read this person in particular. Right. This
Absolutely.
Twin.
Absolutely.
So that's a
All right. You still get a question.
Alright, so let's see. If I had to guess, what does they really intend to do? Because these guys just show up out of nowhere after they hear a random gunshot. They're literally there within less than 2 minutes. Like they were just waiting for something to go down.
Yeah.
So what do they intend to do? Just introducing themselves if they were this close and just taking over like this. What is their purpose?
Like, you probably spent some time overhearing the few conversations and all that here. Their purpose here is a job, and they were tasked by Princey to observe the caravan, intervene when necessary, and provide aid to basically speed up the journey if it seems it's too difficult. So They are here to basically, they're following orders, following directions, and right now their direction is to watch over camp.
All right, that little information will put Sam slightly more on ease, because that means they're working folks like her.
Mm-hmm.
They're, in her eyes, they're dogs, just like her.
Yeah.
Just like you, minus shadows.
And looking over
Yeah,
them,
minus shadows.
yeah, you don't
And a
see
shit ton of armor.
you don't see any weapons though. You see keys. You probably see a walkie on them. They both had a walkie-talkie on them. They had the keys, and yeah, they're just covered head to foot with gear. You do notice that the goggles, they never take them off. They are kind of shaded, so it's even difficult to see their eyes. Like, you just know by the movement of the head they're looking at you. But they
So as if I was looking at myself in the mirror. Lovely.
exactly, yeah, they're just the white skin, the white Spider-Man skin instead of the red, and yeah. So as kind of that scene begins to settle down, let's head back into Shazaz's bedroom, because there's some hardcore action going on here. We were gonna open our minds and and have Dusk just face whatever this thing is in Shaza. Yes, just get in there. So go ahead and roll that weird. Oh, absolutely. So as you pull your friend close, you feel yourself almost fall face first through liquid, emerging a few moments later to find yourself seated on a throne. Maybe it's a castle, maybe not. Sitting next to you is Shazza, but he doesn't look like Shazza. Like, he is dressed up in tons of nice clothes. This boy has gained some muscle mass like no other. His hair is nicely trimmed. Like, he looks very much Greek god status. He sits there, and you look across this room. The throne you're sitting on is placed on the top of this stair. Think, what's the emperor turns into a llama? Think that.
Oh, the Emperor's New Groove.
Right? Where you're sitting on top of this endless stairs, and you start to see that there are people making their way up the stairs.
Do they look abnormal or strange in some way?
The first one is Windjammer.
Oh,
He walks, looks to you. I'm ready for your task, my queen. And nods his head.
Dusk is a bit confused at first, but she, from her dreams and her experiences with the Maelstrom, I think she probably has an idea that whatever it was that it was talking to her is playing games with her. And she's just going to I think I'm going to read a situation and try to understand where this thing is.
Right. Perfect.
So I got the new ability, the casual brain receptivity. Oh, but it's when I read someone. I'm reading a stitch. Never mind. Okay, I'll roll sharp. Oh.
Well, it's a matter, like, you know he's playing a game, but you're just not sure what game he's playing. And maybe you don't have enough time to continue to look around as you see 3 more individuals begin to move their way up the stairs. It happens to be Isle and Recoil, two other men fallen by your powers, but they are dragging someone between them up these stairs, and this man, he's trying to squirm left and right, back and forth. His head's dipped down, and all you can see is a blue, looks like doctor's cap, medical cap, over his head. It does appear he's wearing scrubs. He's brought to the bottom of your stairs. Again, there's probably 10 stairs to you, but there's a little tier below. And they both knock him down to his knees and grab him, pull his shoulder back, and he looks up to you with these eyes full of fear. But this mask over his face. And you have a moment of recognition. What this person is. This was when you had that brief time on the table when you forced yourself to awaken, no matter how hard they kept you down. This was the face of that one of many in the room that was standing over you.
Yeah.
Recoil.
I mean, she's clearly not happy to see him, but then again, she probably knows this is part of the entity's game.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what to do?
I was legitimately thinking that you were going to say that they were dragging Drag up the steps.
We haven't gotten to him yet. As you see this, you feel a presence behind you, and you turn to see it again. It appears to be Shazad's shadow, but not the small meek child. No, it's now this golden boy sitting next to you, but it's moved. It's now behind you. And it appears to pull itself off the wall and move towards your throne. It stands by and begins to produce an ornate, dark, ebony sword, almost growing from its body. It hands it to you. It's up to you to take your power back. Take your power, take the world, child. Move past this. And he points down to the man on the ground. Look towards what your life could be. And as it waves its arms, the walls begin to fall around you. And you do find yourself in the castle, bustling with people. There are men and women, children, drinks. The stables are full of animals. The marketplace is bustling. There's probably 60, 70 stands open. You can see that there's guards, but they all look very pristinely dressed in very fine armor. And a few of them seem to be even helpful, grateful to the people that are coming in. You see happiness. You see life reborn. You don't see concern. You feel warmth. And you can see all across are these banners hanging down. And it just says, the winter's blessing.
Okay. Now I'm going to use casual brain receptivity on this Shazah.
Right. That sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
This
We
Shazah
spent all the mojo.
stands, begins to come towards you, and it grabs your hand. It begins to create this warmth that you haven't felt even through the physical contact with him, you no longer feel the tingle of the winter, though it doesn't affect you as often as others. You're not feeling it. And it begins to pull you down the stairs, sword in hand, closer and closer, one step at a time. It then stands behind you and positions you, pushing you in front of this man down on his knees. Pulls your arm back. And if you're not going to do it, he is going to make you do it. You are going to take your power back, take your strength, regardless of your control. And now this strong Shazah has you in its grasp, ready to strike down with the sword. You're doing all you can to hold it back, but he is strong, abnormally strong.
She's just going to shout out no and use the pain. I can use the pain wave projector.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to yeah. So I tell you what happens. You scream out no, and this blast of sound, and it's light as well, right? It's a blast of like an air blast, but it's also very loud, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
It goes off, and immediately all of this, whatever this is, begins to dissipate. And you begin to feel that biting cold, and as you reopen your eyes, you find yourself in Shazah's room. The window has been shattered. Things have been thrown all over his room. And Shazah lays, his neck looking a bit twisted. It's unclear if he's still breathing.
Oh shit. I knew this was coming.
Oh my! That reply just got me.
Okay. Yeah. No.
You lean close, like you react to this, and you do look. There is breath, but he is not doing well. He is definitely knocked out and in severe danger. The blast has probably called the attention of people nearby, whether they will come to investigate or whether they will associate this with the Winter's Wraith, who has done things like this before, and stay away is unclear. You know that there are medical staff. There is Omi that brought the RV. There's the Medicae. But it's up to you. You know what his parents look like. And you also know how to get people to follow your directions, whether they want to or not. So he lays there unconscious. It does appear that he's definitely broken something, whether it's his spine or something less. It's hard to tell. But the blast knocked him back up against his bed, and something definitely cracked.
I'm in that situation that like I know that probably moving someone in this situation without being a professional, it's probably a bad idea.
Right.
But I don't think Dusk has that very much that concept.
I mean, has Dusk ever tried to save a life before?
besides
Good
her
question. Probably not.
I mean, she had a chance and dropped it.
own.
I mean,
I can feel the salt from here.
yeah. She she's also a bit in shock. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think you have a moment where, again, you know that people heard that. It's loud. But with everything that's been going on today, you're not sure who might show up at that door. Whether it's someone here to offer aid, someone here searching for the Winter's Wraith, or someone just responding to the sound. And you're also not sure what's going on out in the front courtyard, whether there's still a bunch of people having fisticuffs out there. So yeah, it's tough.
yeah, I think there's not much time to lose. So she's just going to run out from the house towards the Medicaid.
Okay. As you run out, there's probably 2 or 3 people, in the marketplace that just heard the sound and were like kind of just looking at the scene, and as soon as you burst from the door, they all just scream and run away. That brings the attention of a few people that are over in the tavern. Same thing. They are seeing the ghost with their own eyes. That everyone has been absolutely worried about leaving, gifts for to keep you appeased. And you just run right past them. As you do, more and more people just running away. And you find yourself running towards the keep. There's no one here. All the guards seem to still be at the front, but you running by is definitely drawing the attention. And even though you're quick and agile, you do notice there's a few of them that look your direction. But you get to the door of the Medicaid. You swing it open. And as you enter, the Medicaid sits on the edge of the table, arms crossed, dark black eyes, and just begins to laugh. Child, you've disobeyed me. Take that little shit. Worthless, weak insect. Dispose of it as you know you shall. You can't refuse what you are.
She just snarls at that thing. And she's going to grab the Medicaid and try to wrestle control of him from whatever it is.
Okay, yeah,
That's
you're
control.
basically trying to snap him out of it. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
And-
you can tell. It definitely, like, it's what you think, demonic possession. Like, yeah, you're trying to just get in there and is this more physically, like you're trying to slap him, or are you trying to again use your mind to knock it out?
She's going to forcibly grab him by his clothes and
Right.
just try to use the puppet strings.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think just to get the control, right? To get your hands on him, I'm gonna have you go aggro on him. You're just going in there, and I mean, he's kind of an older guy. He doesn't look very strong. Like, he's here because he was the only medic, and right now he's just wearing standard kind of white lab coat. Kind of tall. He's skinny, like bald, glasses, the standard kind of creepy doctor guy. But absolutely, let's roll plus hard. Go aggro.
Pray for me.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Lark will, but I don't think you want him praying for you.
So on a 7 to 9, they choose one of the above or one of the following. Force your hand and suck it up. Cave and do what you want. Get the hell out of your way. Barricade themselves securely and give you something they think you want. Calmly harm. As we can see. Yeah, you're just trying to get control of him. Yep. That's all he does. He sidesteps and you just run straight into the table. He kind of turns again. Like you have a moment to still reach out, like you've gotten closer to him, but yeah, you didn't get necessarily physical control. Like he just sidestepped, got out of your way, and allowed you to kind of crash into the table. Yeah, just laughing, not really talking, just laughing, just being an asshole.
Okay, she's going to try again.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna say definitely at this point. Let's see. I think you're close enough. So with your success, basically, yeah, it's just a matter of you kind of stumbled. You didn't get full preparation. So I'm gonna say you're able to like reach out and grab him, but there's gonna be a disadvantage to it because you don't have a clean grab. So basically, you're just grabbing any part of him. It may not be full skin contact. Like you're grabbing his wrist, but he has gloves on and his coat's down. So there's only a tiny bit of skin you're grabbing, but you just need a bit. You just need that. You need time. You need to be able to grab onto his wrist. So I'll say go ahead and roll your puppet strings, but with just a -1, a disadvantage as you go for that, because you're not getting a clean entry.
Okay, so
no
10.
problem. Yeah. So as you grab it, like you pulse your energy into your mind, and you feel like this thing inside of his head tries everything it can to just stop you from doing that, but even it cannot necessarily stop your powers. What is your order?
Gather as many medical staff as he can and go to Shazah's house to tend to Shazah. Save his life by any means necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah, you with that, you see his eyes clear. He recognizes that you're there, but he doesn't have time to really recognize what's going on as he just turns, immediately goes and grabs a few of those pills and begins to make his way out in the courtyard. You see him call over to Omi, who's at the RV, and calls him over, and the two of them immediately begin to run to Shazah's house. As they're running by, you do notice that Monk and it's actually Monk and Foster, and Foster's not one of the guards. He's the blacksmith. They're making their way over to where they last saw you. It doesn't seem like they've noticed you, but they're definitely walking towards the direction of where you ran into the Medicaid's building. There's still like the tavern, so kind of on the map here, you're kind of ran into that building. So they came through here, and they're kind of walking this way, but there's a lot of stuff they have to look through. So you have a moment to get away, but you also recognize that the Emperor and all of them are over there. And right now, the keep seems to be empty or very low when it comes to the guard count.
Okay. Even better then. She will try to get away and try to follow the Medicaid and the other medics from a distance, that she usually does.
Okay. So you're basically trying to scoot past the guards and all that to get to them, because they're kind of right here. Shazah's house is over there. So if you want to follow the guards, you're going to have to go past them. There's a few ways you can do that. You can probably get up to the towers. You can go the wide way around, or you can whatever you come up with.
Yeah, I think probably the walls.
So I'm gonna have you act under fire, just basically to get away scot-free. Basically, have no one see where you're going. Actually, no. I think this is gonna be more. Yeah, we talked about this last time. More of the subterfuge moves. Yeah, no. This is definitely a when you're the mouse kind of roll. So when you're the mouse, roll plus cool. On a 10 plus, you escape clean and leave your hunter hunting. On a 7 to 9, your hunter catches you out, but only after you've led them to a place of your choosing, say where. And on a miss, your hunter catches you out and the MC says where. Yeah.
Okay.
You're basically just trying to escape the situation, so be the mouse.
Here it goes.
This is the scariest mouse in the history of time.
Okay. I'm gonna make this easy for you. It's not Monk. It's not the guard that notices you. It's Foster. He sees you, and he doesn't seem to have anger. He's kind of new here. He's inquisitive, and he definitely tries to follow you, just go after you. He doesn't call the attention of Monk or anyone else. He just kind of sees you and begins running with you, just lower on the wall, kind of just following where you go. Where do you want him to like actually be able to be close to you? Right now he's definitely following you. You have the rest of the wall, and I mean basically you can lead him wherever you want to at this point.
Good question. So what's this place here? It's like the entrance to the tower.
So it's one of the lower balconies. So you can think, the tower has an entrance from the storage, which has been blocked off. And then, it has another entryway from this stairwell. And the stairwell kind of just goes up and over the wall and leads into the tower. It's also allowing the breezeway across this wall here. So it's just an encampment. It's a way that people kind of get around the walls, one of the entry points, the easier entry points to be able to walk the walls around the castle instead of going into one of the towers. So it's kind of a platform with some stairs on it, maybe 3 or 4 foot high walls that are around entry points, at that area.
Okay. So she'll probably try to get up to the tower to try and observe Sheza's house.
Right.
You'll probably find her somewhere around here before she gets up the tower.
Yeah, I think just as you're kind of reaching this part of the wall, like he runs up the stairs. He's a fairly big guy. You do notice that he's also not wearing a shirt. Like it is, everybody else is here. And I don't know how much you know about the new blacksmiths. Again, you've probably seen him in town a little bit, but yeah, he's just tall, well built. He's got a long kind of braid in the back of his hair, and as he just gets up and he just looks at you. Yeah, he starts laughing. Wait, you're the one they all talk about, huh? You're the Winter's Wraith? What are you? 13? What are you doing all running around causing everybody to freak out for?
She's just going to use Winter's Whistling Winds on him.
Of course, absolutely. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh boy. Yeah. No, what's the command?
Basically a voice just booms in his head, "Get out of my way."
Okay.
And yeah, I get the puppet string on him.
Right. Well, that's a choice here. So you're gonna get out of your way though, because I think, yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he's necessarily scared of you right now because he hasn't encountered you before and he's just heard these stories. I think you inflict that harm. So what kind of harm does he take as you just see him not moving? Like he just kind of stands there, he registers, he hears something, but he's still kind of waiting for your answer. Like he kind of expects a conversation for some reason.
Even with the voice in his head.
Right, yeah. It doesn't seem... he's a good blacksmith, but he may not be the brightest person. He's probably inhaled too many smoke fumes or something.
Yeah.
It's that child that wants to pet the dog even though it's barking and
Right.
foaming at the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If your victim forces your hand, your mind counts as a weapon, one harm.
Right.
And with not to be fucked with since it's 1-on-1, I think.
Right?
But in battle.
Yeah. So
no, in battle, just in battle. With
True.
harm and armor according to your gear.
Yeah. You're
Small
definitely
gang,
not
so...
fighting in battle.
Oh, okay. Then it's just one.
Okay. But what kind of pain does he experience? Does he get a massive headache? Does his ears start ringing? Does he get a bloody nose? Like, what happens to him?
Yeah, he just gets like a really bad headache.
Yeah, he registers that and kind of stops. All right, you don't want to talk. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Just turns around and sees that the Medicae and Omi happen to be at Shazaz's house and they have medicine, so he's gonna go there.
Oh my god. This guy.
He's got a head hurt and the doctors are nearby.
I mean, I guess I'll let him. I did tell the Medicaid to save Shazza by any means necessary.
Right. Yeah.
He's very high priority, so like if he goes there, I have an headache, and they're like, okay.
Right. Yeah. So you find your way. Do you like climb up to the top of the tower? Do you just kind of hang out on the wall?
No, I climb out to the top of the tower, like right here,
So
and
you
look down.
Yeah, you take some time, and for the first time in a while, like there's no wind or anything like that. You watch the movement kind of from the windows and from the shadows that are down there, and you see Shazah kind of lifted up onto the bed. There's two individuals in there. There's definitely things done in a way, again, maybe just because of the mass presence that has been here tonight. Like even some of those shadows make it just look like he's being operated on in ways that you were, but you just shake it off. Like you're not gonna let this thing fuck with you anymore. You study the surrounding, even taking time to look over towards the garage, and the scene seems to have died down. There's no one there with weapons drawn. The Emperor and the Night Sentinel are still there, but they're having a conversation. But you do notice that most of the guards from both of them have seeming to have just left. Maybe some of them called because of the loud blast. The rest of them, again, just not caring about the situation. They got bored. But that does seem like everybody's starting to get back to task. After a good 30 minutes or so of you watching over, you see Foster, come and go. And then you do see Shazah carried out. They were able to fashion a kind of rig to carry him out on, and the Medicae on one, Omi on the other, and they begin to transport him. About halfway through, Shazah's mother sees and immediately rushes over, seeing her son there, just falls to her knees, like sobbing, trying to ask what happened, and Medicae just shrugs. Omi has no idea. Father notices, sees this, and goes immediately running to the house, and you see his shadow. He bursts into Shazah's room and sees the broken window, the things all upturned, everything just looking like an explosion occurred in here. And immediately he storms out and begins heading straight to the keep maybe not knowing that the Emperor's not there, maybe for other reasons. But as
Hmm.
the mother's...
Before
Yep.
before he goes, can I try to read him?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Oh, but he needs to see me. Wait. To use the... No, I'll just use sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see the questions. Where was it? Okay, what does he intend to do?
He knows Shazah has at some point kind of spilled the beans that maybe he spends some time with you. And
Oh,
yeah, the father wants to he wants to protect his son, and all of the stuff that has been happening today, he's going to file a verbal complaint about the Winter's Wraith. He's gonna go find the box.
he's going to put a restraining order.
Yeah, I want to rate this a 3. I will not be returning. But yeah, no, he's fuming, and he just seems like he's senses that whatever happened in that room, you're to blame. Probably again because similar things have happened, and he's probably noticed his son acting strange lately, which he might also think was you.
Right. Okay. I mean, who can blame him?
Right. So as you kind of watch the scene unfold, the mother's picked up. They kind of take her with them back to the doctor's office. The Emperor and the Night Sentinel at some point make their way back to the keep, and while there has still been much blood shed for this day, the rest of the night begins to fade away. Before we take a quick break and kind of wrap up day 3, and yes, it is only day 3. Yeah, just ponder that for a moment.
How to destroy a castle in 10 days.
Where does Dusk use the tower to return back into her storage now that it's been locked off and really no one can go in there?
She'll try to find for like a sort of opening.
Yeah, you can use basically the way that you get up to the top of the towers. That still allows you entry into the storage. It's just from the ground level. They blocked off all that entry. They didn't block off the entries from the towers because they don't expect people to be climbing up on the walls to get in there. They blocked off the main doors into the storage because they don't want the general public going in there. So your methods of getting around haven't been blocked yet. It's just, again, stopped people from coming here. But yeah, as you make your way downstairs, it's a mess. They were not orderly when they emptied this place out. All of the doors are now open, unlocked. You easily can find food that was just from bags that ripped open, things that they just forgot to grab. There's definitely a decent amount of food down here.
Oh, good.
And you do notice that your door is also open. And as you enter into your room, there's something missing. What is it?
Good question. I mean, probably she didn't have much, so probably her sleeping bag.
Right. So yeah, basically, yeah, your sleeping bag. They left the bowl you had for food, right? That's just about all the other stuff you have in there. There's still, you can find some burlap sacks and stuff. It's gonna be itchy as all hell, but it'll be something better than just sleeping on the cold stone.
I'll find something better later.
Right. And as you kind of settle in for the night, all of you kind of settle in for the night. Well, the next day will be here soon. So let's take a quick 5-minute break, and
All
when we
right.
come back, we'll
Yeah.
say
I
what
need
we
to answer the phone.
have.